themes of this season and this particular time, as Dr. Cardigan said, in the Christian and the Jewish religious calendars. But spring is, while also a time of anxious anticipation of all things beautiful, it's also a time that invites us to notice things that are hiding right under the surface. Okay? Things that we might rather not see. Things we've been avoiding, like dog poop. You've seen it. It reveals itself as the snow melts away. In those deepest days of winter when dog owners, when you knew that more snow was on the way, scooping every poop didn't seem quite necessary, but it didn't make it invisible, did it? It's showing up again. I know it is in my yard. As well as other things that reveal themselves in the snowbanks. I just picked this up on the way in the building. It's someone's math homework. It does have a name on it, but I won't reveal it to you. So those things are out there, and they're saying, I'm still here, right? But I'm talking about more than just trash and even dog food. When I talk about spring as a time of revelation, every one of us has a few things that we're avoiding, that we're keeping under the surface. Things that we've avoided or things we dread, or even things that scare us. They're the thoughts and the feelings that challenge us and that we're not quite ready to deal with. But unlike dog poop that can get washed away in the rain of April, our personal challenges, those things that are hiding, they aren't going to go away unless we deal with them. Until we're honest with ourselves about what we need to do and what we need. My talk today is not really about spring. It's about integrity. That's one of our core values, and I suspect it's one that's the least really firmly understood. And so I'm going to share with you my favorite understanding of integrity. It was quoted by an author named Dr. Spencer Johnson. He wrote a book, for those of you who are familiar with it, called Who Moved My Cheese? Anyway, what Dr. Johnson said was, integrity is telling myself the truth. Honesty is telling the truth to other people. Integrity is about telling yourself the truth. Okay? Now, do I mean truth like, I was the lazy one who didn't scoop the dog poop? No, I mean deeper stuff. Tougher stuff. I mean truths like, maybe I didn't try as hard as I could have before the March break. Maybe I didn't really pitch in as much to that group project as everybody else did. Or maybe it's something even deeper, that that I'm feeling like I really can't get through this challenge that I'm having alone, or that I'm scared, that I need help. Integrity is telling yourself the truth about those things. That's the first step. Now I want you to hold on to that thought about integrity and telling yourself the truth. While I tell you a little bit about this coin I found in one of my jacket pockets, that might reveal that I don't send my blazers out to the dry cleaner as often as I should, but I hadn't seen this little coin for many moons, maybe more than a year. And it's not a piece of money, which normally a coin is. It's a little inspirational token. Okay? Sometimes people carry those around with them. It has a little saying on it, has some words stamped into it. And someone in my church had given it to me. And, I tucked it in that pocket and sort of forgotten about it. Well, as things often do, there's another great saying, one of my favorites. When the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Think about that. When the student is ready, when you're ready for the lesson, all of a sudden the teacher appears. So at the moment that I happened to reach into that pocket, I needed to hear what it said, what those words meant on that coin. And the coin says, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be opened for you. Okay? Does anyone recognize where this might have come from? No? It's a Bible verse. Gave you a little hint when I said someone from church gave it to me. It's in the book of Matthew, in the New Testament of the Bible. It follows, "For everyone who asks will receive, and everyone who searches will find, and everyone who knocks will have the door opened." Now, I have to be honest with you. There are a lot of things in the Bible that I just don't understand. At times, it even feels like certain things in the Bible contradict each other. And I didn't really put a lot of thought into what that little coin verse meant. Ask, and it will be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and the door will be opened. I was brought up in the Christian faith, and our most important holiday, as Dr. Perryman said, is coming up this Sunday. It's on Easter, right? Easter in spring. Easter bunnies, fluffy chicks, eggs in the grass, guy nailed to a cross. Right? Is that a little bit of a mixed message of spring and rebirth and renewal? Okay? And when you're a kid growing up, learning Christianity, you learn all these stories about Jesus, and you learn that Jesus is someone whose life you're supposed to model your own life after. And I have to tell you, what I learned from Jesus for a long time in my life, was that suffering is a requirement of being a good person. That's what Jesus taught me. Well, not really, but that happens to have been what I held on to. And so that coin that's saying, ask and it shall be given to you. Well, that sounds like, well, wait a minute. If I'm going to be a good person, I should do things for other people. And I should put their interests before my own. And I should not make a nuisance of myself or be greedy or selfish. So how can I ask for things? Right? It didn't sort of seem to fit. But I did some thinking about it. And maybe I did some thinking about it because I had some hard times in my own life. And I thought, gee, what am I supposed to do about being a good person when things are really hard? Or when I feel like someone's hurting me? Or when I'm scared? Or when I feel so self-conscious? And this might have happened to you. And I'm going to tell you a little story about this. So self-conscious that I feel like you can't even make a move because I'm just going to get it wrong. I'm so afraid to get it wrong. And so the coin is reminding me of something. But first I want to tell you a story. And keep in mind the things that I've talked about so far. It's a story about my dad. And I love my dad. My dad is great. It's a story about my dad and a birthday dinner. And honestly, I can't remember what exact birthday it was. It might have been his 60th. It was a sort of a big year birthday. But before I tell you that, I need to give you a little bit of background about my dad. When I grew up, my dad was the toughest guy who never showed weakness. You know, he was a military guy, got out of the service right before I was born. When I grew up, I had to wash dishes in a prescribed order with a protocol, and things were very, very structured, but he was very tough. It was only later that I learned about my dad that before he became that tough military guy, he was kind of a fat kid in school, and he got picked on a lot, even bullied. And so underneath my dad's adult tough guy thing was a person who was pretty vulnerable, someone who'd had some trauma, someone who was holding on to some pain. Okay? You guys, you don't know how lucky you are to have a school and a structure that protects you from bullying. I mean, the stories that my dad told me about his childhood, I just couldn't believe that kids got away with that. But anyway, there's the background of my dad. So it's his birthday, it's dinner at a restaurant, and he's never been there before. We're all sort of gathering there after work, and so people are coming in their own cars and arriving at the restaurant, and it turns out that my dad is the last one to arrive. But he doesn't know he's the last one. And he's never been to this restaurant. He walks in, and there's sort of this entryway, a set of doors, and you go in, and there's this sort of big room, and then there's another set of doors before you go into the restaurant. And there's benches, and so he thinks, okay, well, there's nobody here, and I'm not really sure what to do, so I'll wait. So he sits down on one of the benches, and he starts to wait. And he waits. And he waits some more, and nothing's happening. Maybe a few people come in and go in through the other set of doors, but no hostess is coming out and asking him if he needs a table. No one's coming to look for him. And soon he realizes, well, wait a minute, I may not be the first person to arrive here. I think I might be the last. And all of those birthday party guests are inside that dining room, and no one's coming out and looking for me. And he went from feeling very anxious and self-conscious, sitting there, not knowing what to do, to sort of a place where the tough guy thing came back. Well, they don't care about me. He finally just got up and walked out and drove home, and never made any effort to find out what the real story was. And why do I tell you this story? Well, because that evening was ruined. And you know why? Because my father didn't have the courage to ask, to seek, or to knock, and almost literally knock on the door. And this happens to a lot of us when we're hurting, when we feel alone or separate. Sort of terrible things can come out of that. We might find ways to cover up the pain or the shame or the fear or the embarrassment. We might find ways to cover that up. Sometimes we cover it up by getting angry, blaming everybody else. Sometimes people cover it up by acting silly or even reckless, when what's really underneath is hurt, deep hurt. So I get back to the point about telling yourself the truth. Telling yourself the truth about how you feel and about what you need. That's the first step to turning things around when you're having a lousy time in your life. And I know I've had them. I bet you've had some too. And it won't be the first or the last time. Being able to say to yourself first, I don't understand. I need help. Or this is too hard for me. I need help. Or I'm scared and I need help. Saying that to yourself first then opens you up to saying it to someone else. And that's integrity, telling yourself the truth. So now I understand that my coin isn't really a mixed message at all. It's telling me some more subtle things about how to live. It's teaching me to be strong and honest and to seek and ask for the help that I need. And I'm sharing that with you in hopes that that is something that you can take away for yourself. The Bible verse, of course, is suggesting that we can pray and that we can ask for that help from God through prayer and through faith. But it's also a piece of practical wisdom, because you're much more likely to get something if you ask for it, right? And you're much more likely to find something if you're looking for it. And the door is much more likely to get opened if you knock on it. And so, spring is an invitation to reveal to yourself that you can be courageous. You can uncover those things that you've been avoiding, and you can start fresh. Tell yourself the truth and have integrity. Now, you've been listening to me very politely for quite a while, and now I want to listen to you. Okay? So here's the deal. I want to listen to you think. Because if you've been sitting there thinking, Mrs. Michelson is talking only about herself and not talking to me, you're wrong. Everyone in this room can think of something they've been avoiding, something they haven't been quite honest with themselves about, something that could be revealed and released. So I'm going to listen and let you consider what that thing is for you. And when I'm done listening, I will give you a signal. Okay? Go ahead, think. Thank you for letting me listen. Happy spring.